Hello, everyone. This is Obi-Ron with a special announcement. Thanksgiving is around the corner, so in the spirit of that, we want to help. Profit First Professionals supports accountants and bookkeepers regularly, and we want to share what we know with you about business and the industry. We are offering a free consultative call to help accountants and bookkeepers out there address and overcome their biggest obstacle. No, this is not a sales call. This is all about you. So, starting November 1st, we were offering this consultative call to the first 50 accountants and bookkeepers that reach out to us. You can do so today by emailing Eleni at profitfirstprofessionals.com with the subject Thanksgiving Consultative Call. Again, email Eleni, E-L-E-N-I, at profitfirstprofessionals.com with the subject Thanksgiving Consultative Call. Slots are opening now through December 23rd. Get yours today and enjoy the show. Today, right here, right now, this is the moment that you will finally say,
I'm growing my accounting practice. And you're going to discover exactly how right here, right now, on the Grow My Accounting Practice podcast,
episode 122. Wow. Welcome, everyone. I'm Ron Saharian, co-founder of Profit First Professionals.
And I'm Mike Michalowicz, the author of Profit First. Gosh, you better have that book. You know, Ron, it is selling right now the best it's ever sold.
Love it.
It is literally the number one book now in, like, I think 7 different categories. And I got a call yesterday from a legal group, actually.
Yeah.
Women's legal group. They just bought 250 books for all their members to study as a case study. That's what's happening.
Love those law firms.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just got back from a conference myself. Law Firm 500.
Well,
awesome.
You, my friends, you're listening to a show all about growing your accounting practice, and Profit First, well, maybe it'll be part of it one day. We're just excited about it. But we're super excited about you listening to GMAP. It stands for Grow My Accounting Practice. And this is a show where we teach you the step-by-step to grow, guess what? Your accounting or bookkeeping practice. And we give you an amazing interview. Today's going to be a real special one. We're going to be talking about technology.
I'm excited with this one.
We give you insider access to what's going on here at the office, and we think you can apply it to your office too. And of course, it's the only show in the world that has the GMAP Now task. Literally the one task at the end of the show that if you do it, you will grow your accounting practice. Boom.
And of course, you can tell your friends that you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, and of course, my number one site, growmyaccountingpractice.com.
Yeah. Please do sign up and make sure you never miss a single episode. Hey, talking about single episodes, I don't know how to tie it in actually, but you have an opportunity to get every single webinar we do, and we do some really cool webinars. You get access to it completely free. This is something that we used to do for only paid subscribers, but we decided to open it up about 6 months ago for free. Now, you got to take one step. You got to send us a text. The number to text is 678-506-7543. So type that in your phone. And I know you got your phone on you now. You're listening to the podcast. So 678-506-7543 is the number to send the text to. What do you text? GMAP, G-M-A-P. Do that, and we'll register you for our podcast. By the way, if you don't have access to your cell for some reason, you can also go to a quick web link. It's a bit.ly link, so bit.ly/, and make sure you do this in all caps, GMAP, G-M-A-P 2017, and we'll hook you up. Also, I want to thank our corporate partners to make the show a reality.
Mm-hmm.
Who are they? Ron, you want to mention them?
Yeah, I'd love to mention them. Of course, thank you, Funbox. Thank you, Nextiva. And, of course, thank you, Receipt Bank.
Yeah.
All awesome partners.
We'll give you more details on those folks in a little bit. We think they're a great opportunity for your business, but perhaps also your clients' businesses. His name is Stan Mork, and he is the president of the Information Technology Alliance, which is also known as the ITA. The ITA is the leading independent membership organization or association of mid-market technology professionals, consultants, and product service providers in North America. And he's going to be telling us what's going on in technology. Quite frankly, I've been looking forward to this interview all morning. We come in, we have a quick meeting, we discuss what we're doing today, and I'm like, this is the one I've been waiting for. What's going on with technology? He has more than 28 years of experience with this. He's been the president of the ITA since 2013. He's been identified as Accounting Today's 100 most influential people. And you may not know this about him as a kid, big fan of pro wrestling, like you were, Ron.
Tonga the Kid, Jimmy Supervised Snuka.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan.
Dropping the leg.
Stan, welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm happy to be here.
Who was your favorite wrestler?
Well, see, I'm from the Midwest. I'm a Minneapolis guy, so that was the American Wrestling Association. So we had Vern Gagne, Jesse the Body Ventura, the Crusher, some of the, you got to be, I'm old, I'm 60, so you got to realize that I remember some of those old time wrestlers.
Did you say the Crusher?
As a kid, we watched that on Saturday nights.
Did you say the Crusher?
The Crusher.
Morgana?
The Crusher and the Bruiser.
The Crusher. I thought that was a Bugs Bunny skit when they're like,
the Crusher?
Yeah, weighing in at 12 pounds with long ears, Bugs Bunny versus the Crusher.
Remember?
There was a real Crusher, the man who made Milwaukee famous.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, let's get to the business at hand. There's a huge rise in artificial intelligence, robotics, all these different technologies. Are they really going to have an impact on accounting?
I think so. The ITA, our membership, we have about 28 firms that are the large firms. So, I'm kind of looking at this from a large CPA firm, but I think this also carries down to smaller firms. But, our members are some of the top 50 accounting firms, and they're looking at artificial intelligence and robotic process automation, which is a mouthful, RPA, very closely, because I think there's a lot of mundane tasks that accountants do that could be automated. Now, you read some articles and say, well, RPA, that's going to eliminate the accounting profession. And I don't think that's true. But I do think there's some of these technologies that if you look at the day-to-day life of an accountant, they spend a lot of time on kind of work that really doesn't add a lot of value. It's ticking and tying and doing different things. And I think that's where a lot of these large firms are looking, at least, is how can we take things like robotic process automation, taking an intelligent robot or automated robot that will process that stuff for us so that our accountants can be doing more value add, hopefully higher level, probably stuff that you can maybe bill a higher rate for types of services. And that's where I think most CPA firms and accounting firms are looking at some of this kind of technology. The firms that we have are looking more at RPA than things like Watson, I think, right now. I mean, there's a lot of people saying, putting the Watson artificial intelligence technology. But I think where a lot of the initial firms are focusing their effort are in this robotic process automation area. At least that's what I'm seeing.
And it sounds like they're focusing on that first because that takes away the mundane, repetitive tasks.
And I think it's easier. I think, at least in talking to some of the vendors in that industry, those things are easier to define and understand. I mean, if you were going to try to teach Watson how to provide tax advice, you've got to take all of the knowledge of a tax professional and get it into the machine. And that, that's not easy to do. If you look at, I know we had a guy from the Watson team speak at one of our ITA events, and he said, the problem with trying to do things like a Watson application are that you have to train the computer. And the way you do that is you got to lock your smartest people in a room to train Watson everything they know about tax. And that's not that easy, and it's probably not that realistic to do. With like a robot type of a process, you're taking something that's done 100 times a day by an accountant, and you're automating that because it's repetitive. It happens all the time. And I think that's the main reason that at least a lot of these firms are looking at this RPA technology rather than maybe the bigger deal, the machine learning, all those kinds of things. And if you think about it, there's hundreds of things that probably an accountant does that are very, very repetitive and definable.
Right. When I hear robotic process automation, I think of Detroit. I think of the assembly line. You're not talking about having a huge warehouse where these robots are just doing an assembly line production, are you?
No, what you're talking about here are intelligent agents. I mean, computerized robots. When you hear that term RPA, what most of these software providers who do this are really talking about, not the robots that you and I think about, like you said, where they're picking up the part and they're installing things. They're really talking about a computerized robot or something that sits on top of your software that can look through your mailbox, look for invoices that are coming in, takes those invoices and reads them, figures out who they're from, dumps them into your accounting software, and then allows the accounting software to process it. So it's really an intelligent robot that sits on top of the systems you have today, that's looking for certain activities to take place, and rather than having your data entry clerk pick up the invoice, type the invoice, put it into the system, categorize it, these intelligent bots will do that kind of activity for you. And so when you do hear these vendors talk about robotic process automation, that's really what they're talking about.
So this is like a scene that Hal would be doing, right, from Space Odyssey.
Well,
in essence, I could see this also eliminating the need for offshoring.
right. Yeah. I mean, I read an article just recently about this, because I'm certainly not an expert in RPA. I just hear all of my members talk about what they're doing. But when some firms have found that using RPA can be more cost effective than outsourcing. So if there are certain activities today that you're sending offshore, you could possibly program that within an automated robot to do it within the machine, to allow you to not have to do that. One of our ITA members had written a blog post recently, and they said that I think it was a Deloitte study. Don't quote me. I'm not sure if that's what it was or not. It was somebody had done a study that you could possibly get cost savings with RPA that would be 20% or more over the traditional outsourcing kind of a model.
Wow.
I believe that.
Yeah.
But the other question, of course, is the flip side. What does the accountant do when they're not doing the RPA work?
Well,
I mean, I used to be able to bill. Just let me set the scenario here. I used to be able to bill, say, $100 an hour for doing data entry. Now the computer's doing it. Can I still bill $100 an hour? And then I don't want to twiddle my thumbs. What should I be doing?
Right. Well, I mean, I think that's the big question. I think that's what scares a lot of people, is that one, you got to look at how you're value billing. I mean, you have a lot of discussion about value billing. So if you lose those 50 hours of transactions that you're entering in, one, because of your efficiency, you shouldn't not be billing that. So, I mean, I think you have to look at getting the same price for the services you're providing, even though you're cutting down the amount of time. But then the other thing that you've got to look at is, well, what does the client really need? So if I'm not inputting 50 hours of tax returns, what kind of additional tax advice or other kinds of consulting services that are probably higher value to that client in the first place can I be providing with that extra 50 hours of time that I have? But that, and again, I'm an older guy, but I was in the tech industry. That's what scares I think the older accountants is, well, I've been doing it this way for 20 years. I've been getting paid to do it. Why do I want to give that up? Because now I've got to go out and find another client, or I've got to upsell some additional services to my existing clients to continue to generate that revenue. But realistically, if I'm value billing it, that revenue should be up above and beyond what I'm losing because of the fact that I'm not keying in 50 hours of transactions anymore.
Right. So in essence, we're still charging for the value in the delivery of the executions being completed. But one of the things that I'm concerned about is a skills gap, a tremendous skills gap in the industry, making this move from compliance to consultative nature. How is that being addressed?
Well, I mean, I think that you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I think that's a big issue. How are you going to? I think that comes maybe even with the newer people coming into the industry. I mean, I think those people are going to have a new skill set that they bring to the table. I mean, you hear a lot about people saying, we're going to train people more on data analytics. We're going to train them to be consultants. I was a consultant in a large CPA firm for 30 years. But I came from that industry. I wasn't a CPA. I came from the tech consulting business. And it's a different kind of an environment when you're going to be providing consultative services to clients rather than just doing compliance stuff. So I think you've got to look at the training that you're providing your accounting staff. You have to look at making them better communicators, because they're going to have to sit down face to face with that client and talk about business issues. And so I think there's a lot of different things that make that up. But I think the smart accounting firm in the future is going to look at not just hiring people who are good with numbers, but people who are good at taking those numbers and providing some type of valuable business advice. And good CPAs have been doing that for years. But I think there are some of the firms that are out there who have really been tied into what I'm just going to call the day-to-day compliance stuff. They're going to have to really shift that business model if more of that compliance stuff gets automated in the future.
Ron, I think Stan's basically saying that you have to give business advice once you interpret the numbers, and clearly the most important business advice is around profitability.
Right. Come on, Stan. We had a big opening for there. Profit consulting,
yeah,
right?
You do profit consulting. That's what our members do.
Right. I know.
All right. So, but here's the other side of technology. My credit card has been hacked this year 10 times.
You're ridiculous the times it gets hacked. I don't know
Unbelievable.
what you're doing.
No, but I'm just saying, in years before that, nothing. There is, in my personal opinion, maybe this is biased to my own experience, but there is a rise in security concerns, scams, but very sophisticated stuff. What about with these advancements of technology, where the robots are now managing the most important parts of your business, the numbers? It sounds like there might be technology threats here too.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, no question. I mean, security is top of mind for everybody. I mean, we get these large firm CIOs together 3 times a year, and there's never a meeting that we have that security isn't on the agenda, because that's probably one of the biggest things that keeps an internal IT person in any organization, but particularly in an accounting firm, up at night. How are we going to secure our client records? How are we going to make sure we don't get hacked? All of those kinds of things. But still, the biggest security threat is the human. I mean, even though, because how did a lot of those breaches happen? Well, because somebody logged into a system and the username was user and the password was password. And so, I mean, even the crimes that you're seeing today, where people are hacking into systems, it's because a human somewhere used some stupid password that they shouldn't have been using to get into the entire system. And so even though there's a ton of security concerns, the biggest issue, at least that we see, is that we've got to train humans to be smarter at how they control their individual access into these systems, so that somebody can't tie in via the internet and funnel in and figure out that, oh, here's a password out here that gets me in to access thousands of health records or whatever it might be.
That's very, very important. I know it's a strategy that we, not a strategy, but we're very concerned with the threats that are coming on in electronic threats. And we've taken an initiative to change our passwords every 30 days. And more, that is becoming a necessary evil. It's a pain in the ass, but it's still something that every firm listening to us needs to do. And when things go wrong, it usually results in human error. When we do our research, it's human error. So, yeah, very, very strong point.
Stan, what's the consulting opportunity here, though? So, with these security concerns, what can the accountant listening to the show right now do to make this into a service that they offer to their clients?
Well, I mean, some of the firms do have, particularly if you look at these top 50 firms, they have brought in security types of consultants who do IT risk assessments. I used to do a lot of IT audit work when I was in the CPA industry. So we would go out to clients and we would do data center reviews and we'd look at security. Now, one of the problems for a smaller firm in doing that is you're not going to take your traditional CPA to deliver that service. So, I mean, I think there is an opportunity, though, for a firm who wants to, maybe take the risk of bringing in a new type of a professional, hire somebody who's got some information security background and go out and deliver just IT security assessments to their small business clients, to go in once a year to run, different tests and to look at the security that a client has and provide advice in that area. That's what the larger firms have done for years. But but they aren't focusing on small clients very often. Most of their clients are, Fortune 1000 type organizations but a small firm, a small mom and pop manufacturing company has some of the same issues. And I think that there might be an opportunity for that right firm who feels comfortable with that to go out and provide those services to a client.
So I was at a hotel during my travels yesterday, talking with a friend, and I said, "Oh, I'll just send you the information you need real quick. I'm just going to hop on Wi-Fi." And he goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" He goes, "Make sure you set up a VPN, do these different things." I go, "What the heck are you talking about?" What I learned very quickly yesterday was there is another aspect of security besides that old password getting hacked. There is now mobile technology that we have to consider, Wi-Fi, our cell phones and stuff. Do accountants listening to the show, do we need to be concerned about those things too?
I think so to a degree. I mean, there's certain things you just can't do much about. But I mean, you probably shouldn't be sitting in your hotel logging into your mutual fund account and performing transactions. I mean, that's probably something you should do on your secured wire. Well, and I do it too, guys. So I'm just as guilty as the two of you. But I mean, but you probably, you don't know the security that they have on their network. Hopefully on your business networks and your home networks, you're using the very security, although recently there was just an article about, that there's not all safety in the RPA encryption and those kind of things. But I mean, I do think you have to be a little bit more careful. I mean, one of the things that you're seeing a lot of vendors doing, I mean, I think about my financial transaction vendors are now starting to implement what they call two-factor authentication, where you log in and then it sends you back the text message with the 4-digit code to validate that you're going in. That's one thing that I think if it's available to you on any of the software products that you're using, that you definitely should implement. Because again, it provides that extra level. Now, I think somebody said earlier, that's a pain in the butt, but we do it. It is a little bit more of a pain, but who doesn't have their cell phone sitting right by them when they're logging into the computer? And how big of a deal is it to get a text message back in where you type in the 4736 to get into the system? That extra protection are the types of things that humans need to be thinking about as they're thinking about how do they make things better or reduce the chance of hacker kinds of issues.
Is that a good way also to differentiate your business, meaning to notify your prospects and clients that we take these extra security measures extremely seriously, and here's what we do?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you're seeing that in the financial industry all the time. They're saying, this is just one added protection. So, I mean, you think about a CPA, they might have a portal into their systems. They can build in some of those kind of things. Some clients will complain. They'll say that, hey, I don't like that. I got to do one more thing that I didn't have to do before. But I think the flip side is exactly what you were talking about. You can project yourself as a leader in trying to protect your clients' information.
Yeah, awesome. And I see this as a partnership opportunity for the smaller firms out there where maybe they don't have the finances to hire an IT security guy, but certainly they have the resources to form a partnership with an IT security firm that they can weave that protection into maybe one of their packages that they're doing.
I delivered IT consulting services to small to mid-sized businesses I was at RSM McGladrey as a consultant for 30 years. And we did that a lot. I mean, our expertise and the reason that our clients came to us for IT services was for accounting. They needed help in finding an accounting software product, implementing accounting systems, doing all those kinds of things. And so over those years, we built quite a business of working in the financial tech industry, providing services to clients. But there were a lot of things that we didn't do. I mean, we did security, but there were other kinds of services that were, we didn't do software development for many, many years. And we would build partnerships with another company who could come in and work with that client. And I think you guys raise a good point. For a smaller firm, they may not want to get in. They might not want to hire that security expert, but there's probably somebody down the street from their office who is doing that kind of work that they could build some kind of a business partnership with and package that up as part of their service offering to their clients. Now, they need to check out that individual or that company that does that work and make sure that they're of the same standards that the CPA and accounting firm is. But I do think there are these partnership opportunities that, again, you guys talking about profitability, that can increase revenue and can increase profitability of those firms.
Not only that, but it's a differentiator big time. I review hundreds of accounting websites and proposals and services, and I never see anything regarding
Yeah,
IT.
and again, as a guy who did it for 30 years in the CPA in a CPA firm, you can make a lot of money in IT if you choose the right services. And again, I know we don't have a lot of time to talk about, but I was, I started in 1984 as an IT consultant at McGladrey. We had maybe 20 consultants who did that kind of work in the entire firm. Now, that firm today is what, 1.8 billion, and they've got 8,000 employees. But their tech consulting practice is 1,000 people, and it generates almost $300 million in revenue a year. So, okay, that's a large firm example. But there's no reason that a smaller accounting practitioner who knows a lot about financial accounting systems can't build that same kind, pieces of those kind of practices and deliver those to their small business clients.
So I'm going to ask you to be a little bit of a futurist here, but if we're seeing that accounting firms are moving more and more into a consultative service around IT, isn't the reverse also possibly true, that the IT companies start offering accounting services? Is that a real risk?
I'm not
real
sure.
threat?
It could be to a degree. I mean, IT companies are typically much more tech. They're more focused on the true tech side of things. I mean, so I think you could see that. I mean, the thing that I've always seen with accounting firms that offer tech-related services, the ones that they deliver best are ones that I call that are financially focused. And usually that's the accounting software side of the world. And so, I mean, most technology companies, they know the technology, but they really don't understand accounting. And so it's difficult for them to flip over and say, okay, I'm going to deliver accounting services. I think it's easier for an accountant who understands accounting and understands the software that runs accounting to be able to deliver the other side of it. So I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but I don't think that that's going to be a huge focus of some of these tech firms, is to, okay, now I'm going to bring on a lot of accounting expertise so that I can deliver accounting services to my clients.
No, I actually agree with that. I see it much easier to go from accounting into some IT knowledge as opposed to reversed. Now, we're talking about Watson earlier. I played around and dabbled with that actually this past week. And what blew me away was I was able to put in just a random data set, well, presumably random, and it started to analyze and coming back to me with questions that I could answer, saying, "Oh, do you want to know, how long?" I just used the social media links that it offers, and it said, "Oh, do you want to know how long someone stays active in participating in your social media?" And all these different questions I could get answered. When should the folks listening to the show start investigating technologies like that? And there's so many out there, it can become overwhelming. Do you wait until it's a mainstay thing and everyone's talking about and doing it, or do you want to be in front of the curve?
Sure
but do we have the time
I think you have
to
be just a little bit behind the front of the curve. Let the big guys do all the R&D research, and then be ready. Be ready and be nimble enough to pounce on that when the opportunity applies. So, and a lot of this stuff I think is going to be built into some of the packaged software that people buy. I mean, a lot of small firms are not going to go out and develop Watson expertise within their, and custom do it themselves. What they're probably going to end up doing is buying a software product that has now that's come to the forefront, and it's implemented some of that Watson-like technology within their product. And then they can adopt that and hopefully be one of the first in their market to use that software product and deliver things to clients. I mean, I just noticed, I know Sage Intact just had their big client, I can't remember what the name, I think it's called Insight, their big client conference. And I noticed that Intact has announced that they are going to implement a new Watson-like feature within the Intact accounting software. Well, that's great. So then the small business doesn't have to do that. But then when it becomes available, they need to figure out how to implement those kinds of things if they're a user of that software product. Because most small organizations aren't going to build it themselves.
So what's going to happen when these robots process automation come, and they're prompted to click on that little thing that says, "I am not a robot"? Is it just going to go back and forth and nothing's going to get done?
CAPTCHA thing?
Right,
Probably
right.
won't be able to use robotic process automation to go out and get you tickets on Ticketmaster. That's probably going to stop you from doing that. I never thought about that. So.
It's funny. Yesterday, I saw a news release come out from a venture capital firm. They're backing a humanoid. It's a robot that looks like a person, right? But it has enough intelligence, and I'm doing air quotes, like artificial intelligence, where you can speak to it and it answers questions. And the robot, the interviewee asked the robot, said, "What do you think about the future? Are robots going to take over the world?" And her response is, "You've been paying too much attention to Elon Musk." And it was kind of funny. But the technology is moving extremely quickly. The age-old question that comes about, or the age-old challenge that comes about, Stan, is I don't necessarily, as an accountant, I've been established. We talked about this for a long time. I love the work I do. Now the market's moving. I don't want to move. Is there anything I can do if I just want to stay an accountant? I just want to keep doing what I did. I don't want to become an IT guy. I don't want to be the next humanoid.
Think there are
Is there anything
you can do? But I mean, I don't think, maybe I'm wrong with this, that most accountants got into the industry so that they could do the 50 hours of data entry that we talked about earlier. Maybe they did. I don't know. I think the reason most people got into any kind of professional service, whether it's accounting or legal or whatever, is to be able to sit down with clients and solve problems. To sit down with a small manufacturer and they're having issues with whatever, inventory, or they're having issues with, let's just use tax. They don't know how to come up with the best tax strategy for their organization. I think that's what most accountants would rather be doing than ticking in time. And so, hopefully that doesn't mean that you have to become a tech expert. So maybe some of this tech is going to do some things that you're currently doing yourself, and it's going to allow you to do the stuff that you were really trained to do, which was to provide accounting advice to clients. And if you can do that really well, maybe there's 20 more clients that you can pick up that you weren't able to handle before because this automation is taking care of it. Now, if you're just somebody who likes to do data entry and not a lot of the analytical advice, you might want to look for a new job, because I don't think that some of that stuff's going to be there anymore. Yeah, that's right. Well,
yeah, they can also read "Who Moved My Cheese."
There you go. So let's talk about the how to change the, I don't know if it's the words perception, but how do we deliver these new services to our existing clients? And I know you've done this with large corporations. I'm wondering if it also applies to small businesses. But if I just knock on the door of a client of mine that I've been doing accounting for the last 10 years and say, "Hey, I'm ready to start talking about
your
some
IT
of your technology,
right,
and doing more consultative stuff," that may catch them off guard. Or maybe they say, "This is what I've been waiting for." Have you found a good way, Stan, to
think
to have that conversation with your existing clients?
I think the first thing that I would do is I really, we talked about security and some really high tech stuff. I wouldn't start there. I would start with accounting technology. So, what their payroll systems, their financial systems, their ERP systems, because that's a natural crossover. I mean, most people go to their accountants when they want to find out, well, what should I buy for new accounting software? Well, who do you ask first? Well, you ask your accountant. And that's how accounting firms got into the tech business, because they said, well, that's an opportunity here. I know the accounting software that's out there, and that's a technology product, and I can help deliver that. So to me, you go to your clients and say, hey, we've been doing a lot of work, not only in just providing accounting services, but we also do a lot of work in helping clients automate their accounting. And there's a natural crossover there. And I think that's how you get in the door. At least that's how most firms have gotten in the door, is to say, hey, we can help you with your technology, particularly your technology that relates to running the biggest piece of investment you probably have in your business for as far as a tech investment, your accounting software, your ERP software, your inventory software, your payroll, those kinds of things. And I think if you get in the door that way, helping them with that, then that's going to open up other opportunities to look at other kinds of technology consulting, security, whatever else that you might want to offer in the future. But I think if you went into that firm first and say, I'm going to help you with your security, they're going to look at you and go, well, what do you know about security? You're an accountant. But if you say, I'm going to help you with your accounting technology, that there's a natural tie in there between the CPA accounting provider and what the client is looking for help on. Because most clients' accounting systems don't work very well.
Last question I have for you is about the technology overwhelm. There was probably 7,000 software releases just while we're recording
apps
this.
like crazy, yeah.
Yeah. So there's apps. There's blockchain technology now is the big. There's all this stuff coming out. It's a constant wave, assault of technology. How do I know what to do and what I should focus my attention on and what to avoid?
I'm bombarded the same way. I mean, I think
is that the $1 million question?
Going to one thing to do is to look at some of the industry publications and what they're focusing on. And so I'm talking about reading Accounting Today or whatever else. You see what other people are focusing on that impact your industry. I mean, if you go out onto USA Today, you're going to hear about every type of technology in the world, or other, just a computer magazine. They're going to talk about thousands of things, of which maybe only 20% of them there are going to ever apply to the accounting industry. So I would say you go to the industry publications, podcasts, whatever, trade shows that are focused on your industry, because that's where you're going to hear the experts talk about the things that should impact me, rather than all, self-driving cars are great, but do I really care about how that's going to affect me as an accountant? So I would go to an accounting show or read accounting publications that talk about technology to figure out what are the 5 or 10 or 15 things that I should really get smart about.
I like that.
Right.
Be very vertical.
That's
almost
exactly right.
creating your own technology stack.
Like I said, I'm running a trade association today, and our members are people in the accounting industry, so the CPA, the large CPA firms, and then a lot of these technology consulting firms. And that's why they come together at a trade group, because they want to talk with peers. And there are opportunities for accountants to go out to peer groups to hear more about what other peers are doing, because that's where I think you really learn what you need to know for your industry.
Stan, this has been fascinating. Thank you so much.
Yeah, great stuff.
For these insights.
You can find out more about
where can
my
our
the
listeners find out
organization I
more about
run by going to www.italliance.com, and that'll provide information on the Information Technology Alliance and the things that we offer through our collaboratives. If you want to find out more about me, I actually have a website called morkconsulting.com, which just talks about some of the individual consulting work that I do outside of the ITA. Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Stan, thanks again for coming on the show.
Yeah, awesome.
Hey, Ron, one thing in the notes that Stan sent to us was funny. He goes, I loved pro wrestling in my 20s. Underline. He goes, if I was still into it, I would never. I'm sorry. If I was still into it, I would probably still be single. So that was kind of funny. All right. Let's. Here's what we're going to do, Ron.
Rob.
We're going to summarize what we learned. We got an insider access tip. But first, I want to thank our corporate partners who make the show a reality. And here they are. They're Fundbox. And do you actually
they're the ultimate cash flow accelerator. If you need some cash, you're sitting on some receivables, it's not factoring. They'll front you the money.
Right. So it's ideal if you have clients that have cash flow issues. Now you can provide an option for them. Fundbox.com. We'll have them in our show notes. Receipt Bank, I'll mention them. I was just out at NextCon. It just wrapped up a week ago from this recording date. We're recording at the end of October, but I know it's broadcast later. Amazing event, an amazing company, and extraordinarily innovative. Here's something you don't know about Nextiva. They are expanding on their voice over IP phone system with an integrated CRM. They demonstrated the CRM there. It's called NextOS. It is extraordinary. It blows away Salesforce, Zoho, all these different things. Put them all together, and NextOS uses their stuff as a foundation. It has the stuff that Stan was talking about, artificial intelligence integrated, robotic responses, scripting, and it ties into your phone. It's unbelievable. And it's still, the cost of pennies for the value you gain. So check out nextiva.com.
Awesome. And let's not forget about Receipt Bank.
I did not.
Yeah, no, I was actually at a conference not long ago, the other month, and I was the cool guy. We went out to dinner, and we were eating at Morimoto, which was awesome. And right there on this really sleek bar, boom, pulled out my phone, snapped a picture of my receipt, and people were looking at me. What is that? Oh, I'm doing my accounting. Productivity saving tool. Now I don't have to fill out an expense report, and I don't have to somehow get this to the accounting. It syncs up with our accounting
So
software.
Also ideal for your clients. Have them scan the receipts right to you. And like Ron, now you make your clients cool. People start approaching you. All right, Ron. What I want to do is we were doing the psychology of the sale, but we found that a lot of listeners were asking, how do you run your office there? We've grown. We have, oh my God, now 200
like 225.
Yeah, members. Because we've introduced a branch
15 countries
in the Netherlands, where we have, I think, 25 members out there. How do you grow it? So instead of pulling out the old lightsaber to do the psychology sale, I want to talk about insider access.
Right. So one of the things when scaling an operation is to have your systems and processes in place. We would recommend having your systems and processes in place before you actually need them. However, for our smaller firms, one of the things that has worked really, really well for us is to use video software to record our systems and processes, whether it's Loom or Cantava. It's
Camstasia. Camstasia. I'm sorry.
Right.
We're both struggling with that.
So the beauty of this is that, you create a video library on various different things so that your employees aren't always asking you over and over, how do you do this again? How do you do this again? And what we found is, even though we have written systems, processes, and procedures, they are good, but it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes people like to watch the video. So the video, you do it once, you have it, and you can always refer back to it. After time, you condition your employees to go to the video library. Additionally, your employees who are helping new employees get up to speed can also utilize the training by saying, hey, yes, we do have a video on this. Follow it there.
And make the new video. Yeah, So I actually document this in detail in my new book, Clockwork. One of the big challenges as I was working with companies is writing SOPs.
What's the name of the new book?
Clockwork.
Okay.
Yeah, for today at least. was writing scripts and procedures is time consuming. Recording a video, you actually do the work you need to do while you record the video, and then you give people the video. So it's an extraordinarily powerful tool.
Yeah, you can also send a video over to Fiverr, and Fiverr will translate it into a Word document for you.
There you go.
Boom.
There you go. So there you have it.
Insider's look.
Yeah. All right. Now, got one more thing for you.
Yeah.
Dude, I ran into someone that listens to GMAP, and he hears this. He goes, this is his favorite thing.
Oh,
He goes,
yeah.
Oh, I'm way off the beat. Yeah,
the people above us and below us in our studio must be like, what the heck is going on?
I know.
Did you hear they're selling the Rocky statue?
No.
Yeah. Want to put a bid on it?
How much?
Get it? I don't know. Probably a lot.
No, I don't, because I'm a profit first guy, but I do.
We can allocate for it. We'll set up an account.
That's true. The Rocky statue. That'd be funny. Okay, this is the one task that if you do it right now, it will have an impact on your business. What is it? I want you to ask your best 3 clients, what is the biggest challenge they face today? Because that is where the next opportunity is. Find out the challenges your clients are facing, look for the congruency, and that's the technology solution that you got to provide for them. Boom. All right. Yeah, I went
nice.
fast.
That was a good one.
That was a good quickie. We got to get out of here, actually. I'm looking at the clock.
Yep,
so.
absolutely. So thank you, all you listeners. I want to make sure that, and thank you again for joining us today. You can review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn Radio. Of course, we would love to get your 5-star ratings, but your feedback is what's most important.
Yeah, we hope we earned it. And oops, I put the amplify button there. I hope we earned it. And, well, one more thing we want to earn. We want to earn a conversation with you. If you're consultatively focused. Because, quite frankly, the most important number that people need interpreted is their financials into profit. Like, how do I become more profitable? That's what entrepreneurs need more than ever. There's no question. Profit First, we told you at the start of the show, is selling like never before because there's so much demand for profitability. Why not you become the profit consultant? Here's how you do it. Go to ProfitFirstProfessionals.com, click on the Become button, and then fill out the form, and we'll have a conversation. Maybe there's an opportunity for you to become a profit consultant, to leave behind the data entry of yesteryear and team up with us. We'll have a conversation about it. If there's a fit, great. If there's not, that's cool too. But let's see if there's a fit. But you take the first step. Go to ProfitFirstProfessionals.com right now and click on Become. All right. See you all next week.
See ya.